Catherine Kearns is joining us on the line, and she's going to talk to us about an incredible organization called Polo Africa. Catherine, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's a pleasure.
Won't you introduce us to Polo Africa? What is it?
What Polo Africa is, it's a trust set up called the Poloafrica Development Trust, set up to help underprivileged and economically underprivileged, mostly black, well, all black children from the local community here in the Free State, in the rural part of the Free State.
Now, Catherine, you do this through working with ponies, and I think that's so fantastic. Tell us about the ponies and their involvement in the Development Trust.
Yes, so the exciting thing is that children adore ponies, and they love the chance to ride and the chance to look after the ponies and the chance to learn to play polo when they get to be good at riding. And so we allow the children to do all of those things on the condition that, one, they attend school, which may seem obvious, but it's not so obvious in rural South Africa. So first they have to attend school, and they have to try hard at school. They don't necessarily have to pass, because that's quite difficult, but they do have to try. And they have to work hard at the life skills lessons we give them on the farm. And they have to show discipline and care of the animal. And if they do all of those things, and they continue to do all of those things, then we give them riding lessons, and we give them polo lessons, and we give them a chance to play polo, and they absolutely love it.
Now, the children's work is a large part of the Development Trust, but you also work with adults. Tell us about that.
It really began with adults. When I bought the farm, which was many years ago now, I bought it in 2002. I first bought it because it was so beautiful. This area is so incredibly beautiful. And I thought, well, this must be a wonderful place. If I love it so much, so will other foreigners. And let me set up a polo tourism facility. I wanted it to be a world-class polo tourism facility, which indeed it is. But quite soon, playing polo in South Africa, I realized something which I'm sure you know all about, is that there's quite a lot of prejudice against black players for some of these amateur sports, polo being one of them. And so I gave an opportunity to my adult grooms to become professional, both players, coaches, makers of ponies and so on, at par with the white peers. So that's how it began. It began with the grown-ups. And then where ponies are, children come. So that's how the program then began to involve children. And then I realized it was a marvelous tool to make the children go to school and to focus on education. So that's how it all took off from that point.
Let's talk a little bit more about what you've touched on. And I think it's so important that often work with horses, and especially the sport of polo is reserved for those in our country who really have the means to be involved, and often that involves wealthy South Africans. This changes that whole mindset. Tell us about that. Expand on that for us.
Yes, you're perfectly right that polo is a sport that you need to be very rich to play. But just think, you need a team of people. You need people that are better than you to play with, who do not need to be rich because you pay them. You need a team of people to look after your horses, to choose horses for you, and to school the ponies for you, and to help you in every way. There's a huge world of employment in the sport of polo and in other equestrian sports too. And there is a future for underprivileged youngsters, previously disadvantaged individuals in this country, to be professionals in polo and to be professional in other equestrian sports too. So that's what we're hoping to achieve, to give the children from the program who want that opportunity, many of them do, but not all of them, who want that opportunity to work with ponies, a way to work with ponies which is not just being an underpaid groom, but to be a true professional. And then the other aspect of it all is that sports that are traditionally exclusively reserved for whites, it's difficult to open them up. It's not very easy to open them up. And I think it's important for wealthy black people to see black players playing, loving it, doing well at it. So my Polo Africa teams, when they get to play, they demonstrate to the world at large that it doesn't matter what colour your skin is, everyone can play the game of polo and love it and enjoy it and do well at it.
Now, you've touched on the beginnings of the Poloafrica Development Trust, and as it stands, you now have a schoolyard complex. Tell us about the schoolyard complex. What happens there?
Well, it's rather exciting, the schoolyard complex. We built some beautiful buildings in a couple of hectares of land that are built out of natural materials. In fact, we have a thatching. One of the life skills we teach on the farm is building with natural materials, and we have a thatching project. And so we built some beautiful buildings. We built a schoolhouse already. We built a library, which isn't quite finished yet. The older boys learned how to lay a wooden floor there. They did that in the last long holidays. We want to turn that into an e-learning centre because I think that's a very good way to supplement the rural education in South Africa. And we are just building a kitchen and craft room, and we have an ablution block, and it's just a wonderful area, and the children absolutely adore it. And they camp here in the holidays. The older ones are allowed to camp here, and they braai down there, and there's a hot tub, and they just love it.
And as I understand it, there's also some beekeeping that happens on the farm. Tell us about that.
Well, that's another life skill. Beekeepers are in very short supply in South Africa, and beekeepers are really needed across the world to take care of our land. And beekeeping is one of the life skills we've taught, and some of the children are really interested in it. And one in particular has decided he wants to make it his lifetime career, which is super. And here's something very exciting, Drush. Guess what? About 10 days ago, I went out with a team of boys lugging heavy hives around, and they put up 9 empty boxes in places where they thought they'd catch bees. And this weekend we checked, and 6 out of the 9 have got swarms in. Isn't that lovely?
How absolutely wonderful. Catherine, you've given us so much information today, and I think we've only just scratched the tip of the surface. So to our viewers at home who want to find out more information about Polo Africa, who want to get involved, who want to visit, or who just want more information, where can they go?
They can look at our website, which is poloafrica.com, or they can look at our Facebook page.
Catherine, thank you so much for speaking to us today.
Thank you very much, Teresa. It's very kind of you to have me on the programme.